Hey everyone, welcome back to Grammar Lesson. I'm Mia.
And I'm Leo. Good to have you here.
So, small story from this morning. I packed 1 apple for my lunch, but by the time I left the kitchen, I had 2 apples in my bag.
Wait, let's stay with that for a second. 1 apple, 2 apples. What changed there?
I added an S. That little letter turns one thing into more than one thing.
So apple is singular and apples is plural.
Exactly. Singular means one, plural means more than one. And most of the time, English just adds S to show that.
1 book, 2 books. 1 chair, 2 chairs.
Perfect examples. That's the regular pattern, and it covers most nouns in English.
What made you add the second apple, by the way?
My neighbor gave me one from her tree right as I was leaving.
A nice little addition to your morning.
It was, so I walked out with 2 apples instead of 1 without even planning it.
Should we try a quick game? I'll say a singular noun and you make it plural.
Sure, let's start easy. Cup,
Cups,
table,
tables,
idea.
ideas.
Very good. Now let's try a slightly trickier one. Box.
Boxes. I added ES there instead of just S.
Exactly right. Why do you think that is?
I think it's because of the sound. Box already ends in a hissing sound, so adding just S would be hard to say clearly.
That's exactly it. Words ending in S, SS, SH, CH, or X usually add ES instead of just S to make the sound clearer.
Like bus becomes buses.
Perfect. Or dish becomes dishes.
Watch becomes watches.
Exactly. Try saying watchs out loud. It just doesn't flow naturally.
You're right. Watches feels much smoother.
That's really the whole reason behind that small rule, ease of pronunciation.
What about words ending in Y, like city or baby?
Good one. It depends on the letter right before the Y. If it's a consonant, like city, we change Y to I and add ES, cities.
And if it's a vowel before the Y,
Then we just add S normally, like boy becomes boys, or day becomes days.
so city becomes cities because T is a consonant before the Y.
Exactly. But toy becomes toys because O is a vowel before the Y.
Baby becomes babies, consonant B before the Y.
Perfect. You're really catching the pattern quickly today.
I think hearing it out loud really helps more than just reading a rule.
It really does. Let's talk about one more small pattern. Words ending in F or FE.
Like leaf or knife.
Exactly those. Often we change the F to V and add ES. Leaf becomes leaves. Knife becomes knives.
Wife becomes wives.
Right, though not every F word follows this pattern. Some just add S normally, like roof becomes roofs.
So there are exceptions even inside the exceptions.
There are, unfortunately, but the good news is the most common ones follow a pattern you'll hear again and again, so they become familiar quickly.
Can we go back to my morning for a second since we did yours already?
Please.
I went to the market and I bought 3 tomatoes, 2 loaves of bread, and a box of matches.
3 tomatoes, regular plural, just add S. 2 loaves from loaf, following the F to V pattern. A box of matches, matches from match, adding ES because of the ending sound.
I didn't even realize I was using 3 different plural patterns in one sentence.
That's exactly how it works in real speech. All these small rules blending together naturally without you consciously thinking about each one.
Can we talk about irregular plurals now? I feel like those are the ones that really confuse learners.
Definitely worth talking about. Some very common words simply don't follow any of these patterns at all.
Like child becomes children.
Exactly. Not childs, but children. A completely different word form.
Man becomes men. Woman becomes women.
Right. The vowel sound changes instead of adding S.
Foot becomes feet. Tooth becomes teeth.
Perfect examples. Another vowel change pattern.
Mouse becomes mice.
Exactly. And this one often confuses people because computer mouse sometimes gets treated differently in casual speech. Some people say mouses for computer mice, even though it's not strictly standard.
That's interesting. So language can be a little flexible even with irregular forms.
It can, especially with newer technology words that didn't exist when these older grammar patterns formed.
What about words that don't change at all, like sheep?
Good example. Sheep stays sheep, whether you mean 1 or 100.
One sheep, two sheep.
Exactly. Fish is often the same way. 1 fish, 2 fish, especially when talking about the animal itself.
Deer, too, I think.
Yes, 1 deer, 2 deer. These are sometimes called zero plural nouns because the plural form looks exactly like the singular.
That's such a strange little group, but I suppose every language has its quirks.
It really does. And once you meet a few of these, you start to expect them a little more naturally.
Should we try one more mixed practice round, combining regular and irregular forms?
Let's do it. I'll say a singular noun, you give me the plural. Regular or irregular?
Ready.
Dog,
Dogs.
child,
Children.
glass,
Glasses.
foot,
Feet.
country,
Countries.
wolf,
Wolves.
sheep.
Sheep. No change at all.
Wonderfully done. Every single one correct.
I think this is honestly one of the most satisfying grammar topics so far because you can really hear the pattern building piece by piece.
I agree completely. Let's talk about one more small thing before we finish, about nouns that are always plural, even though they describe one object.
Like what?
Scissors, trousers, glasses, as in eyeglasses, pants.
So we'd say my scissors are on the table, not my scissor is on the table.
Exactly right. Even though it's one pair, one object, we treat it as plural in English.
That's a strange little exception, but I suppose it makes a bit of sense since these things naturally have two matching parts.
That's a lovely way to think about it. 2 blades, 2 legs, 2 lenses, so English treats them as plural, even as one item.
If I only had one part though, like one lens from a pair of glasses, would that change?
Good thinking, yes. In that case, we might say a lens, singular, because now we're only talking about one piece, not the whole matched pair.
That actually makes the whole pattern feel much more logical now.
It really does, once you see the reasoning behind it.
Should we bring this back to a story one more time to finish things off nicely?
Let's do it. After the market this morning, I stopped by a small shop and bought a new pair of scissors, since mine broke last week.
A new pair of scissors, plural, even though it's one item.
Right, and on the way home, I saw 2 children playing with a few sheep in a small field.
Children, irregular plural. Sheep, zero plural. Same in singular and plural.
Exactly. It was a really peaceful little scene, actually.
I really think, once again, the story makes the grammar feel completely natural instead of something you have to memorize separately.
That's exactly the whole idea behind everything we do here.
Can I share one more small story before the summary? I think it fills in a few gaps we haven't touched yet.
Please.
Later in the afternoon, I visited my cousin who works at a small bakery downtown.
A small bakery, singular noun, first mention.
When I walked in, I saw shelves full of loaves and trays of little cakes.
Shelves from shelf, another F to V pattern. Loaves, same pattern from loaf. Trays, regular plural, just adding S. Cakes, regular too.
My cousin gave me a piece of information about the bakery that I didn't know before.
Information. Interesting. That one is actually uncountable, so it doesn't have a plural form at all. We can't say informations.
Right, we talked about that back in our countable and uncountable episode.
Exactly. These two topics really do connect closely. Some nouns simply don't take a plural form because they're uncountable.
What did your cousin tell you?
She told me the bakery makes its own cheese and imports special flour from 2 different countries.
Countries, regular plural there, since country ends in a consonant plus Y, so it becomes countries.
Exactly, connecting right back to what we practiced earlier.
I also noticed a few mice traps near the back door, which made me a little nervous.
Mice, irregular plural from mouse, exactly the pattern we mentioned before.
I really hope they don't have too many mice.
Let's hope just a few or none at all.
My cousin also mentioned she has 2 part-time employees helping on weekends.
Employees, regular plural, straightforward S ending.
One employee is a young woman studying to become a teacher, and the other is a man who used to be a chef.
A young woman and a man, both singular there, since you're describing one person each.
If I wanted to talk about both of them together, I could say the employees are very kind.
Exactly, back to plural again, since now you're describing the group together.
Singular and plural really do shift constantly, depending on whether you're talking about one thing or several.
That's really the heart of this whole topic, noticing which one you actually mean in the moment.
Should we try a quick round using longer, more descriptive sentences this time instead of just single words?
Let's do it. I'll say a sentence with a mistake and you fix the noun.
Ready.
I have 3 childs at home.
3 children. Irregular plural.
She bought 2 loaves of bread.
2 loaves. F to V pattern.
There are many fishes in the river.
Many fish. 0 plural. No change needed.
He has 2 foots that hurt after running.
2 feet. Irregular plural.
I need a new pair of glass for reading.
A new pair of glasses, since glasses as eyewear is always plural.
Wonderfully done. Every single correction accurate.
I think I could genuinely explain this topic to someone else now, not just recognize it when I hear it.
That's really the best sign of learning, when you can teach it back in your own words.
Can we talk about one more small pattern before we finish? About nouns borrowed from other languages, like cactus or fungus?
Oh, good one. Some borrowed nouns keep their original plural form. Cactus becomes cacti. Fungus becomes fungi.
That feels very different from anything we've talked about so far.
It is, and honestly, in everyday casual English, you'll sometimes hear cactuses instead of cacti, especially in relaxed conversation.
So even here, there's a little flexibility depending on how formal the setting is.
Exactly. Formal writing tends to keep the original form, but everyday speech sometimes simplifies it toward the regular pattern.
That's honestly a relief to hear. It means I don't need to memorize every single exception perfectly right away.
You really don't. Listening to real English over time will teach you which form feels natural in which situation.
I think that's true for almost every topic we've covered on this show.
It really is, and that's exactly the philosophy behind grammar lesson as a whole.
Let's do our summary now. Nice and slow. One more time for anyone still listening closely.
Most nouns simply add s to become plural. One book, two books.
Nouns ending in s, ss, sh, ch, or x usually add es instead. Box becomes boxes.
Nouns ending in a consonant plus y change the y to I and add es. City becomes cities.
Nouns ending in f or fe often change to v and add es. Leaf becomes leaves.
Some nouns are irregular and change completely or shift their vowel sound. Child becomes children. Foot becomes feet.
Some nouns stay exactly the same in both singular and plural. Sheep, fish, deer.
And some nouns are always plural, even for one object, like scissors, trousers, and glasses.
That's really the whole shape of it, in just a few small letters and patterns.
Small letters, but they quietly shape almost every sentence you say.
They really do.
I think this is one of those lessons people start noticing everywhere afterward, on menus, on signs, in everyday conversation.
I hope so. That's really the best kind of grammar lesson, the kind that keeps quietly teaching itself long after the episode ends.
A really nice thought to close on.
A really nice one, honestly.
One small letter, S, and yet it carries so much of the story of a sentence.
It really does, once you start listening for it.
A lovely little letter to end on.
Simple, small, and everywhere once you know to look for it.
That's a wonderful way to close today's episode.
I think so too.
Now it's your turn, everyone listening. Think of 3 things around you right now and write their plural forms in the comments.
We'll read our favorite comments in the next episode.
If this felt nice to listen to, subscribe to Grammar Lesson so you don't miss the next small story.
And maybe check your kitchen too, just like Mia did this morning. You might find your own small counting story waiting there. 1 apple, or maybe 2, or even a whole bowl of them.
Thanks so much for spending this little bit of time with us today.
See you next time. Take care and keep noticing those small letters everywhere you go.
Bye, everyone.